Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're doing extremely well, and this is once again your mask code at this side. And today's question is three sum closest, right? In this video we are going to do this question, right? But a little heads up, the prerequisite for this question is three sum, right? I have already discussed this and the video is present on my channel. You can surely watch that. The prerequisite is three sum. Make sure that you know about this problem without before you start commencing this problem, right? So what does the problem say? In the three sum problem, we had been given an array and we had to choose triplets whose sum was equals to some target, right? Some target, right? Now it has been given that now you have been given an array, right? And you have to find out triplets, right? So suppose you have been given the array -1, 2, 1, -4, and you try to find out all the unique triplets. So what are the possible triplets here? It can be -1, 2, 1, -1, 2, -4, and it can be -1, 1, -4, right? It can be 2, 1, -4. It can be, moreover, there are multiple possible cases, right? It can be right. So there are multiple possible test cases, right? So if I calculate the sum of all these, this sum is actually giving me 2, right? This sum is actually giving me -1 plus 2, that is gives me 1, -4, that is -3. This sum gives me -5 plus 1, that is -4. This gives me 3 -1, right? -1, 2, -3, 4. These are the values in hand. Now the input will give us a target value. In this case, my target is 1, and I have to return the sum, that is one of these values which is closest to this target, sum closest to target. And by closest, I mean that the absolute difference between that sum and target should be minimum. And please focus on the absolute term here, right? It is not important that the sum should be greater than target, so sum should be less than target. It can be either, but it should be the closest, right? Closest, that is 1 is actually equidistant from 3 and -1, right? Because 1 -1, like the difference between here is 2 and the difference between here is 2, right? So I guess you are easily versed with the problem, that what is the problem demanding with you, right? Okay, now how will you solve it? As a problem solver who have already solved three sum, this problem is a cakewalk, right? This problem is a cakewalk. How would you solve it? So given the array given to you is -1, 2, 1, -4. The brute force approach says find out all the triplets, and proceed with the sum which provides minimal absolute difference, right? This is my brute force approach. How could I find all the triplets? I will use the nested loops as I was using in the brute force of the three sum. What I will do, I will use I, that will go from 0 to n minus 1, j, that will go from I plus 1 to n minus 1, and k, that will go from j plus 1 to n minus 1, right? And these three values will give me the triplets, all the triplets. But the only problem here was it was using O of n cube time complexity. Right? We had to deal with the O of n cube and try to solve it in a less time complexity. So how can we proceed? As we were doing in the optimized version, I will sort it down because the problem is essentially three sum. After sorting, this array becomes something like -4, -1, 1, 2. Agreed. After sorting it, the array becomes -4, -1, 1, 2. I say repeat the steps of the three sum. That is, I will move my I from 0 up till the last element, that is n minus 1. I will use a for loop for that. Inside this for loop, I will say my j is equals to I plus 1, my k is equals to n minus 1. I am requesting it again that if you have not watched the three sum video, please do consider watching it before, because you will not be able to understand what is happening here, right? Okay, you will not be able to connect. Okay, now next step in three sum was while my j is less than k. Mind it, we are not using an equal to sign. Why? because if j equals to k, that means we are actually choosing two elements essentially. Why? Because our one element is getting repeated, duplicate element, right? I don't want that. I want three different elements from the array, right? Okay, now my sum will be array of I plus array of j plus array of k. Now the difference with this will be, my difference will now be, it will be target minus sum, and don't forget to put the absolute here. This will give me the absolute sum, right? This will give me the absolute sum. Now when will I choose this sum over my previous answer? Let us suppose my answer was, currently I don't define an answer. Let's say my answer is -1 currently, and my difference with this answer will be, let's say int max. My current difference, let us name it as diff star, right? Int max. I have to minimize this difference. I have to minimize this difference. What will I say? There are three conditions again. If sum equals to target. See, if you have achieved a sum that is equals to target, what will be the difference here? In the case of equality, the difference will become 0. So I can actually return the same target. I can actually return the same target because I have to return the sum which is giving me the closest value, right? So I can actually return the target. I will say return target and don't worry about anything else now. But the life is not that simple, right? It can be that else if my sum comes out to be less than target. My sum comes out to be less than target. And as we explained in the three sum also, my I is here, my j is here, my k is here. My target wants to be 1. What is my initial target? It is -4 -1 plus 2. That is -3. My sum comes out to be -3. Now I have two options in hand. I can either move this towards right or this towards left. What is beneficial for me? Because my sum is -3 and I want to increase it so that it reaches 1, I will have to increase j, because decreasing k would actually actually decrease the value of -3, right? I actually want to increase, so I will have to move j towards the right. So if I will move the j towards right, j will come here. But in this case, in this question, before returning, what will I say? I actually have a sum in my hand, right? I actually have a sum. I actually have a difference. Now it might be possible that this difference is actually less than diff star, which is the global minimum difference, right? It is possible that this difference is actually less than diff star. In that case, what will I do? I will say diff star will change to difference, and because I have achieved a sum here at this difference, I will say my answer will change to sum. Now after this if condition, I can securely say that increment your j and find out all the other pairs, right? All the other triplets as in, right? This was for sum less than target. Same goes for else condition says sum greater than target. If sum is greater than target, this part will remain same, right? What will this part remain same? This will be if diff is less than diff star becomes equals to diff, and answer equals to sum, right? No problem in that. And when in this case we were incrementing j, but in now we will be decrementing j because we have a sum greater than target, k minus minus. See, three sum was also about that, right? We were actually moving towards the target. Three sum said move towards target, and that is what three sum closest is also doing, k minus minus, right? After whole the while loop is finished, I can say I plus plus for the next iteration, right? And at last I will say return your answer in hand. That has been the sum with the minimal difference possible, right? Minimal difference possible. That is all. That is all. What is the time complexity? Time complexity of this approach is actually equal to time complexity of the optimized version of the three sum, that is O of n square. We discussed it there how we are going about n square. Space complexity is O of 1 because we are not using any extra data structure to maintain and like create an extra space. We are just dealing with the variables here, right? So it's time to move on to the code. Hope you were able to understand the approach. And in any case, if you're not able to understand, you know where to contact me. There is my comment section. There are my social media handles, right? Okay, so let us move on to the coding section. All right, so here we are. Let us start writing the code. Okay, what will I do? I will say my int10 equals to nums.size, right? After that, we forgot in the previous video, but we will not forget here. I will have to sort my array. Begin nums.end, right? Now my answer, I am leaving it undefined, and my difference, let us name it a diff max, right? Diff minimum, okay. Let diff min equals to int max. I have to minimize it as much as possible. Now I will say my int I is equals to 0, and now while my I is actually less than n, I will have to proceed. That is int j equals to I plus 1, k equals to n minus 1. The inside loop will actually work for j less than k. My current sum will be nums of I plus nums of j plus nums of k. Now my difference will be in diff, let us say in diff equals to absolute value of target minus sum. Now if difference equals to 0, that means sum is equals to target, I can simply say return your target. You don't have to worry about anything, right? Otherwise, if my sum is less than target, in that case what you have to do, if my difference, that is my current difference, is actually less than my global difference, that is diff min, I will change my diff min to diff, and I have got my new answer with me, right? So my answer converts into sum, and after that I can simply say increment your j. It will be else if here, right? Now another operation says else, that is sum is greater than target. In that case, the loop will remain, the inner part of the loop will remain same, other than the j plus plus, that it will become k minus minus. And after this while loop finishes, I can simply say I plus plus, and now I can return my answer. Hope you were able to understand this question. Let us try to run it now. In the meantime, if you are new here, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Oh, there has been some mistake, guys. There has been some mistakes. Why does it happen with me only? So what is a mistake? Oh, there is a mistake. It will be double equals to. Simple typing mistakes. Let us try to compile and run it now. Oh, it is getting accepted. Let us try for the submit as well. Hope the test case is run. And you can see the solution has been accepted. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more such amazing content. And just thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.